Good evening, sir. This is Pradeep Singh Jadon with my co-presentators Sagar Singh Rawat, Chetan Gadke, and Joginder Lodi. We are over here to give presentation on our topic, which is GST and its applications. Next slide, please. So first of all, we are going to tell you the introduction of GST, that what is GST. So as we all know, GST is goods and service tax. GST is indirect tax, which has replaced many taxes in India. The goods and service tax was passed in Parliament on 29th March 2017, which was done by our finance minister that time, which was late Arun Jaitley ji. The act name came into effect 1st July 2017. Goods and service tax law in India is comprehensive, multi-stage designation based tax that is levied on every value addition. In simple words, goods and service tax GST is indirect levied on supply of goods and services. This law is replaced by many taxes law previously exist in India. GST is one indirect tax for entire country. It means the whole country have to pay GST on goods and services in indirect form. The tax came into effect 1st July 2017, as I told you earlier, through the implementation of the 101st Amendment of Constitution of India by the Indian government. The GST is replaced existing multiple taxes levied by central and state government. Next slide. So here are some tax rates which are uh, implied under GST. So first is 0.25. Second tax rate is 5%. Third tax rate is 12%, and last one is 18%. And after that, it comes 28%. So 0.25% is applied on cut and semi-polished stones, which included under this tax slab. Under second, which is 5%, household necessities such as eatable oil, sugar, species, tea, coffee, and these all things are included under 5% tax. And 12% GST, this includes computers and processed food. And under 18%, it comes hair oil, toothpaste, and soaps, capital goods, and industrial intimacies. These all things comes under 18%. And in 28%, all the luxury items such as small cars, customer durables like ACs, refrigerator, premium cars, cigarette, and these all things comes under 28% slab. Now, further slide will be concluded by my co-presenter, which is Sagar Singh Rawat. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep, for giving me such pleasure to speak. Hi, I'm Sagar Singh Rawat in front of you, going to speak on the proposed GST rates. As my friend Pradeep said, there are 5 tax slabs. Now I'm going with that only. There is 5% GST tax slab in items such as my friend said sugar, tea, sliced mangoes, and etc. And 12% on ghee, butter, fruit juice, almonds, and 18% on biscuits flavored refined sugars, 28% on wafers, sunscreen, dye, hair oil, tobacco. Now, uh, here we are seeing that there are 3 types of things, items: goods, service, and essential goods. Now, the total GST rate in percentage is 20% in goods, 16% in service, and essential goods is 12%. Now it is divided on two bases. First is central and second is state. On goods, central government takes 12% and state takes 8%, whereas the GST slab for uh, services 16% and it is divided 8% to central and 8% to state. Where as we see in essential goods, 12% is total GST rate and central and state rates are same, which is 6%. Now, see next slide. Now let's see how GST works. However, petroleum products, alcoholic drinks, and electricity are not taxed under GST. Here we are saying that some of the materials are under GST, which we use in our day-to-day life, but some of the things are not under GST, like alcoholic drinks, petroleum products, like petrols, uh, which we are using, and instant are taxed separately by the individual state governments as per their which is previous tax system which is previously applied. There is a special rate of 0.25% on rough precision and semi-precious stones and 3% on gold on addition of a cess of 22% or other rates on top of 28%. GST applies on few items like aerated drinks, luxury cars and tobacco products. Pre-GST, the stationary tax rate for most goods was about 26.5%. Post GST, most goods are expected to be in the 18% tax range. Thank you, sir. Now, next slide will be taken by Jogendra Lodi.
Thank you, Sagar. Good morning, sir. Now I am starting with next slide, type of GST. There are three types of GST. First one is CGST, Central GST, is levied by the central government. Second one is SGST, State GST, is levied by the state government. Third one is IGST, is integrated GST, is levied by the central government on the interstate apply of a good and services. Here is one more UTGST. UTGST is Union Territory GST. On a sales of goods service, either IGST is to be charged, on SGST, CGST, both to be charged. If the business is in the Union Territory, then UTGST will apply in the place of SGST. Next slide, please. Now, when are CGST, SGST, UTGST, and IGST applicable? Now I am talking. First of all, I am talking with CGST. GST, Goods and Services Tax, is a comprehensive tax applicable for the entire nation. It has replaced a number of indirect tax in India, including central excise duty, additional duties of customs and entertainment. Now, CGST, collected by the central government, and SGST collected by the state, union, territory. Both CGST and SGST will be applied on the intra-state transaction. Now, intra-state transaction, for a transaction completed within the state, both SGST and CGST are levied at the time of collection. There are one example of intra-state transaction. If 1 ton of coal worth 5,000 rupees is supplied by a supplier in Gujarat to a consumer in the same state, total 5% GST will be collected by the supplier from the consumer. This 5% GST will constitute 2.5% SGST and 2.5% CGST, and will be directly diverted to the state and, and the central. Now, next one is IGST, collected by the central government, will be applied on interstate transaction. Now, interstate transaction for a transaction completed to state, IGST is applicable. For example, if the coal supplier is Gujarat had sold the uh, coal worth 5,000 rupees to a consumer in Maharashtra, IGST at the rate of 5% would have been collected. The IGST collected by the central is later divided between the state of consumption and the central government. Hence, intra-state transaction, both SGST and CGST are levied, while for interstate transaction only IGST is collected, with which is later divided between the state and the center. This is all about GST. Next slide concluded by Chetan. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogendra, for your explanation. I'm Chetan Ghadge, and today I'm going to explain the advantages of goods and service tax. So, the first point is the removal of the cascading effect of the taxes. Cascading effect, tax effect is also known as tax on tax. It means it occurs when the goods, where the tax is imposed on every step of the production until it does not sold to the end consumer. So basically it leads to an inflationary price, because the end consumer has to bear all the tax which is levied on every step and every stage of the production. So it may be considered as a very cascading effect of the GST taxes. Sorry, not GST taxes, but the taxes which were existing before the GST. And after the introduction of the GST, we have to pay only one tax. So it is very good, and it reduces the inflationary price, which is good for the manufacturer, for intermediaries, and the consumer as well. Second point is unified compliance procedure across the country. It means you did not need to follow the previous we can say previous procedure, because in after the introduction of the GST, you can pay GST through your home, and it is very basic structural framework of the GST that you have to follow the particular process. If you understand that particular process, then it will be very easy to you that you can easily pay the GST. And thus that the only thing is that you should have proper knowledge of the GST. Third point is faster movement of the goods across the country. Basically, you can transfer, or you can say you can take your consignment from one state to another state in very faster way, because nowadays after the introduction of the GST, you don't need to pay the several taxes, and you don't need to do several formalities as well. So the formalities are reduces and the processor become very fast. So it is very convenient for all the manufacturers and the industrialist and the consumer as well. 4 point is no manual challan and 100% digital compliance. Before the GST, the some manual challans were existing at that time, and but after the GST, the manual challans are just replaced by the digitalization, and we can pay the GST through online mode. It is very convenient for us, and it is very time saving. So we can say that yes, it is very convenient for us also, and it is very simple. If you understand the procedure of that, then it would be very simple. The next point is single return for manufacturing, trading, or services provision. As you all know, before the GST, there are so many taxes. So you have to maintain the record of that taxes also, that return files of those taxes, and you have to maintain the record of each and every returns of that taxes, and the procedure might be very long at that time. But now, after the introduction of the GST, you can see that the time uh, only one single return we have to take, that is of GST. So it saves our time, and it is very convenient for us, for manufacturer and for end consumer also. Next point is seamless input credit chain. First of all, we have to understand what is input credit. So basically, input credit means it means at the time of the paying tax on any output. So you may reduce the tax that you have already paid. It means if you have already paid tax on any output, so you don't need to pay tax on another time, because you have already paid the tax for that. So you can pay the remaining amount, that suppose you have 10,000 tax, you have already paid 6,000, so you do need to pay again 10,000. You will only pay the 4,000, because your remaining tax is 4,000. So it is very proof, because it is we can say that it is digitally very proof, that we have a digital proof that we have paid a 6,000. So it is we can say that the fraudulent chances are very less in this condition, because it is digital. So it is all about the advantages, and now these are some disadvantages of the GST. That compliance of the GST, because most of the Indians are not able to comply the GST because of the lacking of the knowledge. It means that most of the people, they don't have any knowledge about the that how to fill a GST form, and even they don't have we can say that taxpayers are not fully proper knowledge about the cloud based automated GST software. They don't know how to operate that, because even they don't know about the annual turnover limit of the GST. So it may be say that they don't know about the composition scheme also. So uh, however are getting easier day by day, and course of the government, so its GST council meets that done a lot to make it more effort and convenient. But people are not aware, and the because of the technical inefficiency also, because most of the taxpayers in India are not uh, we can say they don't have proper knowledge in technical terms, and they got confused that how to fill in GST forms and all the things. So it is the very, we can say that, major problem in India, that we don't have any even technical knowledge and proper the norms of the GST. Second is hike in cost of operations. Yeah, due to the complex procedure of the GST, that most of the companies need to hire the some experts to calculate the GST and to maintain the GST record. So they have to pay a huge salary for that, to that experts. So yes, it directly or indirectly increases the cost of operations. So this may be considered as a very big hindrance in GST in India. Third one is highest tax burden on SMEs, because before the GST, we can say that the turnover limit 1.5 crore is exempted for the SMEs, small medium enterprises, that they don't need to pay tax if their turnover is till 1.5 crore. But after the GST, the limit is low, and the Arun Jaitley, our late finance minister, had told that the new limit is 25. SMEs, small medium enterprises, has to bear a huge loss for that, because most of the GST payers that were under 1.5 crore turnover, they have to pay a GST tax now. And the last one is software purchase cost has gone up. As we all know that there is a cloud-based automated GST software. So everyone has to aware about that if they are a manufacturer or any business they are running. So they should have a proper knowledge about that software. So as the demand increases of that software, the prices had also increased, because everyone knows that the importance, that what is the importance of that cloud-based software. So as the price increases, so it would be very difficult for those small traders who are sole proprietors and who are running their business solely. So it increases the cost for them also. So there are some advantages also and disadvantages also GST, but we have to uh, overcome from them. So because we have to convert the problems into opportunities. Thank you very much.